All right, everyone, we are live. The second half of today's podcast, Sunday, June 23rd, 2024. MMAOB Daily Podcast. Adam Martin, Big Marcel. This is the UFC 303 preview. I'm looking forward to talking about this card with you, Marcel. It's a great card. I would say even better, possibly, than the one we had a few weeks ago. They've added a few fights. They've changed a few fights. And in the end, I feel like we have a deeper card. So, yeah, we lost Chandler and McGregor. And the spectacle of that sucks that we lost that because it was going to be big. But I kind of feel like the new card's even more exciting. I feel like the fights are really good matchups. Like, this card is a lot of really close fights. The odds are very, very competitive on this fight. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I know you are too. What do you think of this card? Like, out of 10, what do you think of this card heading into it? Like an 8?
I would say an 8, yeah. Before we start, shout out Alex Pereira, Prochazka, Brian Ortega, Diego Lopes, Anthony Smith, and Roman Dolidze for all taking fights on short notice to save this card pretty much, you know. I like the card a lot better, to be really honest, than it was before. Before, it was like a top-heavy card, you know, with a okay co-main event and like a really good main card opener, you know. And now I think you have like 4 really good fights on the main card, in my opinion. One is kind of like, yeah, it has to be there. But, yeah, overall a pretty good card, you know. Looking forward to it. And I think International Fight Week always should have at least one title fight on it, you know. I don't give a shit if Conor is on it. There should be one title fight on it. And I'm happy Alex Pereira stepped up, and also Yuri. It's kind of weird that these two were supposed to fight the main event of the Perth card. Still doesn't make sense to me, but hey, good. I'm happy they're here, and we're gonna have a good UFC 303, man. Looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, me too, dude, for sure. All right, a couple of comments here. Tristan, just to answer your question, I think it's just Caesars. I don't know if the other books have it. I don't really that much in PFL anyways, to be honest. I think the card's better too. Ortega Lopez is a great fight. Yes, sir. Antoine's gonna be awesome. And he's here. He's on time. Marcus, what's up, man? Great card. All right, guys, let's get into it. Oh, go ahead.
Marcus going to international?
This is a different Marcus. This is
other Marcus. Yeah, Williams. I mean,
I don't think he's going. I've talked to him. I think he was going to go if Conor was going. I think, but I could be wrong. Maybe he's going to get a ticket last minute. Maybe he jumps in the chat later.
I mean, James is there, by the way. He has a stance, right?
Yeah, he's one of the only guys I know that's covering. I mean, I'm sure other people are going to know. If you're going, have a great time, guys. It should be a great card. All right, let's get into the card. We have, I think, is 11 fights, right? 12 fights. Actually, maybe it's 13 fights. Did he count? 1, 2, 3,
8 + 5.
5, 6, 7,
13.
13 fights. So we actually got extra fights now, which is good. All right, first fight on the card. We have a bantamweight bout between Ricky Simon and Vinicius Lockdog Oliveira. And, man, this is a good fight to kick off the card. I'm surprised it's kicking off the card, but I like it. Fun fight here. The odds for this one have Ricky Simon -218 favorite, +180 on Vinicius Oliveira. I'll let you start off. What do you think?
I think the popular pick is probably Vinicius Oliveira after he knocking out Bernardo Supplier with that flying knee and being so impressive in Dana White Contender Series. But this is a huge step up, man. Ricky Simon, you know, Ricky Simon lost his last 2 fights, but still, Ricky can wrestle here, I think, you know. And we saw Vinicius had problem with the wrestling against Sopai in the second round. And I mean, it's a full training camp. I mean, Sopai was like a 3 or 4. They know this guy. I think Simone takes him down, probably wins the fight. Does he finish him? It's possible. You know, it's possible. I mean, Vinicius Oliveira has lost before. I think that Ricky Simon takes him down and probably pounds him out. I'm going with the second round TKO for Ricky Simon in this one.
Yeah, I think we're on a different page on this one then, because I'm going to go with Vinicius Oliveira, man. I mean, I can't pick against this guy right now. He's unbelievable. Crazy knockout power. I mean, yeah, I agree with the takedown defense is a little concerning for sure, especially against Ricky. But I'm kind of down on Ricky right now. I kind of think he's on a bit of a decline, man. I really do. I mean, the last 2 fights has not looked very good to me. And going here against a guy who can strike like this, who can knock you out, I think this guy is the real deal. I really do. So, I mean, I look at this fight and just wonder like why the UFC would make it other than they want to see how good this guy is, and if he can pass this test, it shoots him right into a great spot. I think in the top 15. So. Yeah, I think definitely there's a path to victory for Ricky Simon. He is the favorite here. I can understand it. He's got the better wrestling, right? But I think Vinicius Oliveira knocks him out. So I'm taking the dog to kick off the night, Marcel. +180 dog. I'm going to do it. So I'm taking Vinicius Oliveira. There we go.
You're picking the lock dog.
the lock dog. That's right. Let's do it. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Carlos Hernandez taking on Tsuruya. man, how do you say it? Ray Tsuruya?
Ray Tsuruya, I think. Ray Tsuruya.
It's a tough name to pronounce. I'll get it better as the week goes on, but this is a difficult one. Anyways, odds for this one, Ray is minus 400, Carlos Hernandez plus 310. Yeah, I mean, I think Ray wins. I'll just say that right now. Like, again, the UFC wants – there's a few fights like this in the card. It's kind of a weird card because you have a few, like, huge favorites that, like, they're trying to build up, but then you have a lot of close fights. This one, I think, is clear. They're trying to build this kid up, and he's undefeated. He's looked amazing on road to UFC. He's coming off these crazy knockouts and everything. Carlos Hernandez coming off a loss to Pyfer. He did look really good against Dennis Bondar in that technical decision win. That was a really good performance. It could have been a knockout, but it was like a head clash before the finish. It's weird because this is decision in 4:59 of round 3. It's so weird, right? But it was technical decision. Anyways, the guy's decent. I think he's like a decent fighter, but this Bray guy I think is the real deal as well. So again, another prospect they're trying to build up. Last year they had Pyfer on this card, the International Fight Week card to build up, and now I think they have Ray Tsuruya. So God, the pronunciation is bad. Sorry, guys. I'm trying on this one. But I think he wins, Marcel. He's the real deal. I think he wins by stoppage. What do you think?
Yeah, give me Tsuruya by submission in the first round,
Yeah, he wins for sure. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We have, oh God, this fight. I don't know why this fight's in the card, but Andre Arlovski, now 45 years old, Marcel, which is just
if this is the retirement fight of Arlovski, I think it makes sense to put him the last time in front of the crowd,
God, against Martin Buday, crazy. Buday is a huge favorite here, man. Minus 278, Arlovski plus 225. I'll just say, I'll start this one. Part of me is like, Buday should not be this big of a favorite against really anyone because I don't think he's that great, Marcel. Honestly, I don't think he's that great. But how can I pick a 45-year-old Arlovski who's coming off 3 straight losses and really should be 4 because he lost to Collier? Arlovski hasn't looked good in years. He's been competitive in some of these fights, but lately he's been getting finished. I know he went to distance with Waldo, but he got destroyed by Dontel Mays, got destroyed by De Lima. Buday is probably a step down of those guys, but I don't know, man. I can't pick Arlovski. As much as I'd love to see him get a win here and then retire, it'd be nice to see. I can't do it. At the same time, I'm not rushing to bet on Buday at minus 278. That's really high odds. He should win the fight. I think he probably wins a decision. Maybe he gets a finish, maybe, but I'm not looking forward to this fight. Don't really think it fits on this card unless, like you said, it's Arlovski's retirement fight. Then I could see it, but I don't really love this fight. I think it's more of like an Apex type fight. I'll take Buday by decision, but God, I just don't care about it at all. What do you think, man?
Yeah, it was actually supposed to be in the Apex, right? So yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm also not convinced, man, that Buday is going to win, but I'm still picking him, and it goes by decision, a typical heavyweight fight.
Part of me wants to pick Arlovski because I think the odds are crazy. Plus 225, and it's even plus 240 out there. Like I think he has a chance to win the decision.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
But I just can't do it because he's 45, and that's pretty old. I think he's the oldest guy in the roster right now. I can't do it. Go to the next fight here. This is a fun fight, and I actually think this fight could have been like higher up on the card. Michelle Waterson-Gomez against Gillian Robertson. Odds for this one, Gillian Robertson minus 180, excuse me. Waterson-Gomez plus 150. I'm taking Gillian Robertson, Marcel. I think her grappling will win out this fight. Gomez's takedown defense is not the greatest. She's also lost 4 straight fights. She's lost 6 of her last 7 fights. I don't think she beat Angela Hill either. So I think she's lost 7 straight fights at this point. Although I think there was one fight. Oh, the Pereira fight I thought she won. So whatever. 1-6. It's not good. I know she's been fighting good girls, but not impressive. She's actually, and the other thing is she's always been known for her durability. Now she's getting finished. So that's not good. And then she goes here against Robertson's coming off a huge win over Viana. I know Viana's not that great, but the way she performed in that fight was very impressive. Also, that win over Rodriguez. 115 looks like a better weight class for Gillian Robertson. Most submission wins, I think, in the UFC, right, in this division, if I'm not mistaken. And, I think that I think she wins this fight. I think it's a good matchup for her. I think Robertson takes her to the ground. And I think she finishes the fight, actually. So I'll take Robertson by submission. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm taking Michelle Waterson.
I think Robertson.
I'm taking Michelle Waterson, but unfortunately, we're not talking about dating, but about fighting. So I have to go with Robertson here. I think Robertson wins by submission. To be honest, I think there's more upside for her. I think Waterson, pretty much on the end of her career. She's fighting tough girls, but Robertson probably has a ground advantage over Michelle. I think, and I think she will capitalize on it. So for me, Gillian Robertson. Submission, second round, I would say.
Couple of comments. Waterson, yeah, she's really nice, but tons of damage. Arlovski Hall of Fame. He's going to be the Hall of Fame for sure. Former champion, so many fights. I think he's got like what's first or second most fights. I mean, Jim Miller. He could beat some. Those guys aren't that good. Maybe. I mean, I don't think Buday's as great as you think, man. Pato, you've been high on Buday for a while, but I don't think he's that great, bro. Getting destroyed by Shamil Gaziev is not a good look at this point. It just doesn't look good right now. I'll read the comment. Hell yeah, Marcel, you can argue Michelle's the greatest build in UFC history. I think it's definitely an argument you can make. That's funny. All right, we'll go to the next fight here.
I don't disagree.
All right, we'll go to the televised prelims. We have Payton, Talbott taking on Yanis, Ghemmouri, and the odds are insane for this one, Marcel, as you'd expect. Minus 1,600 on Payton Talbott, plus 900 Yanis, Ghemmouri. I'm seeing minus 2,200 out there at some other sports books. It's insane. Yeah, but again, I'm not picking against this guy. I mean, he should win. To be honest, I think originally, like before the card started adding all those extra fights, I thought he should have been like higher up in the card too. But he's in a good spot here on the first fight of the televised prelims. It's a really good spot for this kid. He's the real deal, man. He looks amazing. Ghemmouri coming off a knockout loss to Gomez hasn't looked that great. I think the odds are a little high, though. I mean, again, minus 1,600. Like, you're not going to play it straight. You're going to throw him your parlay. It doesn't add a ton of like extra money to your parlay, really, if you do that. Maybe you look for him inside the distance potentially, but he's also a guy that's been going the distance in some of his fights. I don't know. So it's a hard one to play. I'm obviously picking Payton Talbot. I just don't know the angle of how to bet it. What do you think, though?
I mean, Yanis Ghemmouri is not a bad fighter, but I mean, this is just a very tough task against Payton Talbot. And Payton Talbot really convinced me in his last performance against Cameron Simon. I was really on the fence, and he passed that test with flying colors. Got to go with Talbot here. I also think he wins by stoppage. Probably, I'm going with TKO winner, even in the first round, man. I think.
Yeah, he probably finishes it. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, Ghemmouri, he's not bad. Don't get me wrong, but. UFC knows what they're doing here.
Yeah, they want him to win. And again, they're building this kid up, and they like him. And like Tristan said, the cut is tough for this guy too, I think. So something else to keep in mind. He probably does get finished. All right, we got the next fight here. This is a fun one. We have Charles Jourdain. I wrote down Charles Oliveira by accident. I'm fixing it right now. Charles Jourdain. Yeah, taking on Jean Silva in the UFC featherweight division. And the odds for this one are close to Charles Jourdain, minus 122, Jean Silva, plus 102. Dude, I wish you had the button with him barking after the dog thing, because I'm picking him as a dog, Marcel, in this fight. I'm going against the Canadians. Crazy, right? Like, Jourdain's my boy, but I can't pick him. Dude, I was not impressed at all with his last fight. I was there against Woodson. He looked so bad in that fight, dude. I know Woodson's a tricky matchup with the length and everything, but it was just bad. Listen, I like Jourdain. He has a ton of experience, but he's very inconsistent. And Jean Silva's good, man. He's got a huge win streak here. He's got knockout power. He's got wrestling. I think he's really well-rounded. I think he's a good dog pick this week. I think he can make it a gritty, ugly fight and grind it out. Don't know if he finishes Jourdain, who's very tough, but I think he can win a decision here. So going with the dog, man. Small dog, plus 102, but my second dog pick in the card, Jean Silva, win over Charles Jourdain. What do you think?
This is a very hard fight to pick, in my opinion, because the level of opponents Jean Silva has fought.
Yep.
I don't know, as Charles Jourdain, yeah, he has some losses to his record, but still against decent competition, So if you look at it, I really feel like it's a pick 'em. Are you going with the more established guy here, or are you going with the guy who's up and coming and has looked good so far? I'm still on the fence, to be really honest. I feel like my heart says go with Silva because he can finish the fight. My mind says, but what if he fades later in the fight and Jourdain comes back? You know what I mean? And he doesn't finish him. So I always say don't go with your heart, go with your mind. So I'm picking Jourdain here by decision.
There you go. All right, so we have a different pick on that one. That's okay, though. We had two different picks so far. I took two dogs.
Yeah. If it wasn't okay, what you gonna do, dude?
Nothing. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna do shit. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We have more featherweights. We have two veterans, Cub Swanson against Andre Fili. Andre Fili minus 205, Swanson plus 170. I think the odds are a little high here on Fili. Like, he's inconsistent too. He's very inconsistent. I mean, this guy is like, he never puts together 2 wins in a row, right? Now, he's coming off a loss, and if you look at his record, he's like, it's a good spot to pick him, bet him, because he's basically a win-loss his entire career. I don't know. I mean, Cub Swanson's 40, right? So that's why he's actually turning 41 this year. I can't pick him. I don't think he beat Duwato either, but it was competitive. I mean, he's going to make it competitive, though. I think it's a fight that probably goes the distance. And I think it's going to be a war. I think it's going to be a good fight. But, again, I can't pick a guy who's 40, turning 41 right now. Having said that, Fili's taking a lot of damage, too. So it's a kind of a tricky one. I'll take Fili by decision in, like, a potential fight of the night type fight. But, I'm not rushing to bet on this one either. I'm not super, super confident. What do you think, man?
Swanson is a guy I always had a lot of respect for. You know, I always thought like he's a great fighter, but just the last straw didn't work. You know, and he didn't came to the top of the division. He was close many times. I'm talking about the UFC. I think the WEC also did very well. And with Fili has always been like, you said a borderline top 15 guy. You know, but when he had to step up, he lost. I remember when Kelvin Kattar came in the UFC. I think Kattar made his debut against Fili, and he won against Fili back then when Fili was pretty big of a favorite, if I can remember correctly. I'm also picking Fili here. It will be by decision. But hey, man, if Cut wins, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's a close fight, you know, but it's a fun one. Actually, I was doing a little bit of a write down for this fight, and it's like this is a typical fight. When fans see this, it's like, why haven't these two met before, you know?
I feel the same way. It's kind of surprising they haven't met because they've both been in the UFC for a very, very long time. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We have
the good pronunciation, dude. French Canadian.
I was thinking about this one in the shower today. Sounds so weird. Doesn't it?
Okay. What's that? While you were washing your dick?
Yeah, exactly. Not thinking about the money I'm going to make betting on Joe Pyfer to win this fight. I'm just joking. Joe Pyfer taking on Marc-Andre Barriault. It's pretty good.
Yeah, okay.
Marc-Andre
we'll do with it.
Barriault. I think that's a little better. But yeah, odds for this one, Joe Pyfer, bounce back here, minus 270, Barriault plus 220. I'm picking Joe Pyfer. I like the matchup for him. Here's the thing about Joe Pyfer. Like, everyone's calling him a fraud check, right? It's Hermanson. What do you think about that? Was it a fraud check?
No, that's bullshit, man. I mean, if it was a fraud check, he would have been destroyed all rounds. But he was doing pretty well till 2.5, you know.
Bro,
and then
if that was 3 rounds, he would have won the fight.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
5 rounds, so he lost. And it was 48-47.
And this is a fucking 3-rounder. Plus Jack Hermanson, I have him higher than Marc-Andre Barriault, you know.
So, you did really good. You actually did it better than me. You're not even French. Wait, did he speak French there a little bit, right? Like you learned it in school?
I think I had 3 years of French, but I never did something for it because we had a teacher, a French woman who was like from France herself. So if we pronounced something bad or we wrote something bad, even at the test, she comes like, no, you should have done it this way. And now, how do you mean? This, but I don't understand. What do you mean? You have to, okay. So we always had an 8. You know what I mean? 8 out of 10.
Fair enough. Anyways, getting back to the matchup, I mean, I just think Barriault is super hittable.
Yeah, yes.
Pyfer, I think, is a guy that can pick his shots here. I think he could knock him out, too. I mean, remember Chidi knocked him out a few years ago, and I picked Chidi. Remember that one?
Yeah,
it was that
13 seconds or 12 seconds, yeah.
16, and the guy's, you know, he's pretty durable usually, Barriault, but you never know. I mean, Piper's got a shitload of power. Pyfer's still their boy. I think they're giving a fight he can win here. I like Barriault, man. He's a fun guy to watch, but I think he gets knocked out. I'm going to go Pyfer knockout.
Me too, man. Those Canadians don't have a chin, so I mean, I'm just kidding. I also picking Pyfer here, man. I mean, you saw in his fight against Hermanson, he did pretty well. He faded in the 4th and 5th round. This is 3 rounds. Yeah. Plus, like I said, I think Hermanson is a better fighter overall than Marc-Andre Barriault. Can it be competitive? Yeah, it can be competitive, but I think Pyfer probably finished him as well. So I'm going with Joe Pyfer here.
There we go. So we have the consensus pick there. All right, we'll go to the main card now, guys. The main pay-per-view card. We got 5 fights here. The first one, kicking off the card, Ian Machado Gary against Michael Page. I should mention, by the way, I'll have my bookies bets out for this card, but also I'm going to be at the Sports Interaction again doing the live stream with those guys on Saturday. So we'll tweet it on Twitter on Saturday night. So but Gary is favored. It's not much, though. It's a small favorite. Minus 130. Michael Page plus 110. I mean, I think it's a really close fight, Marcel. I really do. I think stylistically, it's a fight that will probably take place on the feet. I think Page is the better overall striker. He is 37, which is something that kind of bothers me, but he's kind of a younger 37. I think he looked really good against Kevin Hall in his debut, personally. And Machado Gary has not been super impressive. Like the last fight was not very impressive against Jeffrey at all. You know, he won, but it wasn't impressive. I just don't know if his style is going to win this fight, because it's like kind of a, you know, stay at range and try to win on point style. I don't know if that's going to work against Michael Page, and he's not really a grappler either. So I kind of think Page can win this fight on points. I think the fight's going to be boring. I hate to say it, guys, but I kind of think it's going to be a boring fight, Marcel. That goes 3 rounds, and I think Page wins like a close split decision. I don't really have a lot of interest in betting on the fight because I think it's going to be super close. But if I have to pick someone, I'll go with Michael Page wins like a split decision. That's my pick. What do you think, man?
I think Gary rolls and he wins the decision. Yeah, I don't think he has any problem with Michael Page, to be really honest.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I think it will be I also think it will be a boring fight. Either going to strike, he keeps his distance. I also think he's going to mix in some takedowns. You know, I think he's going to do some more variety in his game.
He should.
If you ask me, I'm not the fan of Gary. I'm also not a fan of Michael Page, but I think Ian Gary has more upside. I think Ian Gary should win this fight. I think he will. He will win by decision. I don't think he finishes Michael Page, you know. But listen, man, to be really honest, you know what my stances are on Michael Page. I've never been high on him. You know,
Yeah.
I think he's a fun fighter to watch. I think a lot of casuals love him, you know. But I don't want to say I look down on the casuals. Absolutely not. But I'm just like, for me, he's unproven against good competition, you know. And against Holland, he did well, although he lost the second round because Holland grappled finally in that fight.
Yeah.
And Gary, there's a clear path for Gary to win this fight against Michael
Yeah.
Page, you know. So I'm going with Gary here.
I mean, I think it makes sense. I totally understand. I think it's a super close fight. The odds are like basically a pick-up. So, you know, I think they'll stay that way too. I think they'll stay close. But again, I think Page is the better striker, and I think it's a striking-based fight, so I think he'll win. He also has a reach advantage, which I think will help him in this fight too. So that's my thoughts on it. And I kind of agree with this. The Logan Storley fight, you know, he did well in that fight. Logan Storley, I know he's, you know, lost some fights, but I think he's pretty good. Prato likes MVP by decision. Let's see what happens. Do you think Ian will gain future champion respects you if he keeps winning and he's undefeated? Yeah, but he's got to be more exciting. He has to stop being a douchebag too, because I think fans kind of don't like his personality. Like when he came to the UFC, I thought he was really good. But over the years, Marcel, I think he's kind of like he like enjoys being like a kind of douchey kind of guy. I don't know why. I don't think that's who he is. I don't think that's really who he is. But he enjoys this type of personality now, and I think fans are kind of turned on him a little bit. You know, I was a little higher on him a few years ago. You know, I still think he's good, and if he wins this fight, it's a huge win for him, obviously. But I don't know, Marcel. He's just not really doing it for me lately. I didn't like the last fight against Neal, and I didn't like the way he was treating the media after when they said like they were criticizing performance. And he's like, "What are you going to do about it? What are you going to like?" Remember, that was so lame. And also the Neal Nagny fight too. He should have finished that fight. He should have finished that fight.
He didn't finish that on purpose, and that annoyed me as well.
Yeah, because he was trying to teach him a lesson for the child.
Yeah,
whatever it was the
just a bitch.
Nagny was hitting his kid or something.
Yeah, I want to
reply. I laugh about that, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. All right,
I want to reply to Tristan. MVP gets unfair criticism because of his cage. It's about the opposition he fought, man. I think he fought until his 32nd, 33rd year of age in Bellator. He fought pretty much guys who he was like a minus 1,500 favorite against, man. I mean,
yeah.
You know, it's like
I know Derek Anderson and those guys. We break his what's his name? Cyborg's ex-husband. That guy, Evangelista. Yeah, I know what you're saying. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We got Mayra Bueno Silva against Macy Chiasson. This fight should not be in the main card. Shouldn't be in the main card.
No, but everybody says that.
But they have to shove it down our throats and put a women's fight. I'd rather see Michelle Waterson-Gomez and Gillian Robertson on the main card. If they had to put a women's fight, which I understand there's only 2 on the card, they should have put that fight instead. And by the way, we didn't have any women's fights last week on that card, by the way. There was no.
Of course, we also had no ring girls. So
no ring girls. Yeah. We didn't know what round it was, and apparently that first fight, the clock was broken. So the guys operating the clock were like, "Where's the ring card girls? We don't know what round it is." So I answer this question quick more. So how many languages do you know?
I can speak Dutch, obviously. That's my number one language. I have a dialect I can speak, but that's not a language. I can speak English. I can understand a little bit of French, but I cannot speak it. I can speak German, and I can understand it also. Not all words, but I can pretty much understand it. And let me see. My dad learned me some Indonesian words because my dad's from Indonesia. It's like Malaysian, Bahasa. So
I didn't know you were like part Asian. That's awesome. Cool. I had no idea.
Okay, that's why the flag is next to my Dutch flag on Twitter.
I always wondered that. I just thought you were a fan of
people always think it's from Poland, but that's the other way around the flag. So last time I got like a DM from somebody, it's like, what did you think about your prime minister did that? I was like, huh? He's like, yeah, the Polish prime minister. I was like, yeah, I'm not Polish, dude, but okay.
All right, let's get to the next fight. Mayra Bueno Silva against Macy Chiasson. Odds for this one: Bueno Silva minus 166, Macy Chiasson plus 140. Yeah, I mean, it's another like tough fight to pick, I think. Bueno Silva coming off that loss to Pennington, I was there. Terrible fight, terrible performance, gassed out hard, looked terrible. I mean, really, like she's had some good fights in the UFC, but she's had some really stinkers too. Like, again, the Manon Fiorot fight, I know that Manon's good, but it was a terrible performance. She didn't look good at Montana. Then she went on a roll when she moved up in weight and was looking amazing, and then has a stinker. So I really don't know what to think about her. And also, like, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been super high on Chiasson, but I thought she looked great in her last fight after 2 years off, and I'm wondering now if she's like just a much better fighter. It's possible. And Macy's actually had a good career in the UFC. She won Ultimate Fighter. She's had some big wins in the UFC. Norma Dumont win looks a lot better now in hindsight. Norma's been really good in the UFC since that fight, right? She hasn't lost since then. So here's the other thing with this fight. I think it's a close fight, and Macy's much bigger, 5'11", so she has 5 inches of height and 6 inches of reach. Macy's the better grappler. Bueno Silva's grappling is sure submissions are amazing, but her actual wrestling defense is not good. The other thing is Bueno Silva has a negative striking differential. That's not good. Macy has a positive striking differential. That's good. Boy, I don't know, man. This is a close one. I'm kind of leaning the dog a little bit. I got to be honest with you, man. I'm kind of leaning towards Macy to win a decision, to grind her out here against the fence and use the size and length to grind her out here. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I feel there's going to be a fugly fight to watch, to be honest, man. Yeah. I also think Macy wins the fight.
There you go. Consensus dog, guys. We have one.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, reach
plus 140. Go ahead. Sorry.
Reach. I think she's a lot stronger. Definitely. Listen, Mayra has the BJJ, of course, but she has to get her into positions, and I think Macy has more of an overall game than Mayra has. So I'm going with Macy here. And we know Mayra is known as a gasser after 1.5 round normally, you know. So Macy is a safe pick in my opinion. We should do some of those questions, man. I really like those questions people are asking, by the way.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay focused on the card, but we can answer them quickly. The Chiasson weight cut is definitely something to keep in mind. She is a big girl. How to give you tips on learning new language?
It's pretty much if you're interested in a certain language, you should go for it. If you're not interested in the language, you're probably not going to learn. I would love to learn Portuguese or Russian. It would be very handy, for sure. So, yeah, but it's probably what you want to learn, and it's if you have some feeling for it, you can pick it up probably.
How many countries you guys visited? I think maybe 5, not a ton.
Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, Spain, France. That's it.
5 and 5. So there you go. I wish I could tell.
And I've been to the US on Grand Theft Auto, but that's it.
Oh, okay. Right. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We got Anthony Smith, Lionheart taking on Roman Sheon Vlismas's boy toy, Dolidze, Mr. Vlismas. JB Bay is his least favorite fighter in the UFC. He's the favorite, though. Minus 142. He took the fight on really short notice against Smith, plus 120. I mean, it's a 205 too, by the way. So Dolidze moving back up. He's fought there before. I don't know. I mean, listen, Dolidze is, to me, like, decent. Like, and he's, I don't think he, like, got blown out by any means against Vettori and Modlov. The fights were somewhat competitive, although that majority decision is ridiculous. But, I mean, he's kind of first round or bust though too. Like he's kind of knockout or bust, right? Like his big wins are by knockout, and the fight goes long, he technically loses. Anthony Smith is still, like, for all his faults, he's still tough as fucking nails. He's still so experienced, and he showed against Vitor Pacino. He's still, still got it. And he showed against Ryan Spann. He can still win a decision. So I'm kind of leaning towards an underdog again here in Anthony Smith, man. I got to be honest. I'm picking a lot of dogs on this card, but I'm leaning towards an underdog in Anthony Smith. I think he can win a decision here. I think the first round will be sketchy, but after that, I think he wins the decision. So actually, yeah, I mean, like, to be honest with you, I think he should be favored to win this fight, especially given, like, the short notice for Dolidze. I think Smith should be a small favorite in this fight. I'm picking him to win decision. What do you think?
Fucking hell, dude. Do we have 2 consensus dogs?
Are you serious? You're picking him? There we go. We have 2 consensus dogs back to back.
What the hell? I didn't expect you to pick Smith. I'm picking Smith by decision, man. I think he's more proven at that weight class. And I think as long as Roman didn't clean knock him out, and we haven't seen Roman do that a lot, so yeah, Smith for me as well, man. I think he has probably also, the longer the fight goes, more Smith has to offer in this fight. It's a 3-rounder, it's not a 5-rounder. 3 rounds, Anthony Smith, unanimous decision is my pick. Yeah,
there you go. Smith has a hard time with home breakers and his passive leads expression. That's funny. Cheyenne's in Georgia with their kid. I think she's taking a break from her career to take care of their child. They have like a 1-year-old kid, I think. Smith has Muay Thai. He does. I think Smith can win a decision, guys. I think he can. Jokes aside, Smith should win. Better striking. The thing Dolidze gets takedown. I agree. I actually agree. Again, I think that Smith should be a small favorite here, like a -130 favorite. So I'm a little surprised Dolidze is getting so much love. But anyways, we'll see. All right, co-main event, great fight. Probably one of the best fights in the card. Brian Ortega against Diego Lopes. Kind of a shame they didn't have a full camp. That's the one thing I'll say about this. Yeah. I wish they had 12 weeks to train. But regardless, Diego Lopes -148, Ortega +124. Again, I think it's a tricky fight to call, Marcel, because Ortega is so experienced. He is coming off a huge win over Yair. He's been around forever. We know he's so dangerous. He's got knockout power, touch submissions. He's got wrestling. He's got everything. I mean, he's really such a great fighter. But I also look at Diego Lopes. He's on a roll right now, and I think that Diego is like the future of this division. I think he's amazing. I'm so impressed with him. Every time he fights, he looks better and better every time. He destroys guys too. Like the fights aren't even competitive. So. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy because Ortega's never been like officially knocked out. He did lose to Max by doctor stoppage, and he lost to Yair by shoulder injury, but he's never like truly been finished. I don't think in his career, right? I don't believe so. Which is crazy. Let me just double check because
you're right.
What's the other loss?
Volkanovski decision.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's a tricky one because.
Want me to go first?
No, I'm going to pick Diego Lopes. I'll pick him. I'm just like not sure how he wins though. Like I think he wins, but I'm just not sure. Does he knock Ortega out? Maybe he's the guy that knocked Ortega out. Maybe he is, because I don't really see him submitting him, and I don't know if the fight goes 3 rounds either. I guess he knocks him out. It's just crazy to say because Brian's never been knocked out officially. I guess I'll have to take him by knockout. I guess. What are you thinking?
3rd dog in a row here for me.
Ortega, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, listen, man. I love Diego Lopes. I love him even before he was in the UFC. But this is a huge step up, man, in competition, in my opinion. Really and Ortega showed to me that he's still not done. And Ortega has been like, he's been inconsistent, and he's been injured. But he came back against Yair and looked really good, and he submitted him. For me, I don't know if Ortega has a better ground game than Lopes, but for me, he's more proven, So I'm going with Ortega here. I also going with Ortega by finish. I think he finishes the fight. And I'm going with a submission in the 2nd round, man. I think he finishes Lopes. I know Lopes hasn't been finished by submission in an MMA fight, but still, it can happen, I think Ortega is still one of the best guys in the division, Lopes is coming up. I like Lopes a lot. I just think this is too early for him,
It might be.
But we'll see. Hey, maybe he surprises me. I'd love to see it, because I like Lopes a lot. I think he's an amazing guy. Besides, he's a great fighter. He's a really cool guy as well, outside the cage. So, but I'm going Ortega, man. Got to be honest here.
So 3 straight dogs for Marcel in the main card. I picked 3 straight as well earlier. I think a lot of dogs on this main card win, and so does he. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I think it's a dog-heavy card, guys. I really do. So we'll see what happens. Let's go to the main event now. Let's do it. Let's go to the main event, guys. We have Alex Pereira taking on Yuri Prochazka in the rematch. And the odds for this one are close. Short notice fight, obviously, both guys. -166, Alex. +140, Yuri. You want me to go first? You want to go first?
I first want to ask you a question. Did you hear Dana talk to that guy about Ankalaev in the post?
I did. He said I think he said he's next in line, right? Didn't he say that?
Yeah, he said as long as he's holding his ranking there, he will be getting a title shot soon. I was like, yeah. So pretty much you're saying like he has to keep fighting to keep his ranking there. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's the Abu Dhabi main event. I'm not sure. Although he did say he wants Hamza on that card too.
Yeah.
Anyways, getting back to this fight, do you want me to go first? You want to go first?
Yeah, you go first. No problem. I'm pretty convinced. So I can
then you're taking out Pereira. Then I'm guessing.
Okay, listen. For me, it's like these guys fought in November against each other.
Sure. Sure.
And nothing much has changed, in my opinion. Pereira is still the same guy he was. And Yuri took a lot of damage against Rakic in that first round. And he didn't look good at all until he turned it around and knocked out Rakic. This is maybe different because we only have 2 weeks preparation for this one. For both guys. Still, Yuri is a fun fighter. I love to see him fight, but he leaves openings, and he leaves the openings that Pereira can. How do you say that? Can jump on? Yeah, capitalize. That was the word I'm capitalize on. And it won't be any different in this fight. I think I'm going with Alex Pereira again. I think he knocks out Yuri this time. I'm more clean. Probably. I'm going with this. I'm going all in. First round knockout for you.
Who's you taking the first fight? I can't remember.
I picked Yuri to win the fight.
God, so this is crazy because I'm going to go the other way. I took Alex in the first round. I'm taking Yuri in this one. I'm going to do it. Listen, Pereira's amazing. He's incredible. This is more of like a gut pick, guys. I got to be honest with you. This is more of a gut pick that he wins, period. Because you're right. They just fought 8 months ago. Yeah. Not that much has changed. They fought once since then. Yuri won by knockout. Alex won by knockout, but obviously Alex had a much cleaner performance.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Yuri can just go crazy in this fight. And the first fight was actually Yuri won the first round. So
that's true.
He did have some success. And then obviously went for that takedown, got elbowed to death and lost. And as someone who picked him better than Alex, I was happy to see it. But, I think Yuri can get it done, man. I think he can knock him out. I think he's going to have a little bit different game plan here. And this is obviously a bit of a risky pick, obviously, because, again, they just fought. But I think these guys are going to end up fighting 3 times in the UFC because I think Yuri's going to win this fight. I think he's going to knock Pereira out in the first round.
Is he going to foot stomp him?
I don't know. I think he's not going to fight like that. I think he's just going to go crazy. Yeah. The way he finished Rakic, I think that's what he's going to go for it. The other thing is, again, if the fight goes to the ground, I favor Yuri too. He's got the better ground rate too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, this is not this is a pick that if you look at they just fought, it makes more sense to pick Pereira. I get that, but my gut is telling me Yuri pulls it off. And my picks have been really fucking good this year, and I'm going to trust my gut on this one, man. I have to be more so. Go ahead.
The problem is with all these guys fighting Pereira, they all want to strike with it,
I know.
And I think Yuri is actually a much better ground fighter than Pereira is. If he uses that.
Yuri can finish him, though, on the feet, too.
Of course, but why would you take that risk? I don't understand that shit, And they all do it, Only Jan Blachowicz didn't do it, but they couldn't get him down.
Fight. Yeah. Imagine the judges gave that fight to Jan last year instead.
Yeah. Pereira
division changes, right?
Of course, yeah, and I don't understand this, man. You're like, and listen, man, I'm a couch count, I'm a fat couch count, but still, you are like a professional fighter. You fight against a guy who is like a world-class striker and is really like mediocre, almost non-existent ground game. You're gonna strike with that dude. I don't understand that shit. It doesn't hold more value if you knock him out than then you submit him and you become the champion. Everybody reminds you
to be fair, he went for a takedown, got elbowed. He got those downward elbows, right?
Yeah, true. But you understand what I mean, right?
I do. Almost everybody. Yeah, I get what you mean. But again, that's not Yuri could finish him on the ground because that's what he did to Glover. But it's not really his game. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
he's more of a guy that's going to go crazy and knock you out or try to. Listen. There's a lot of things that make sense to pick Alex. I get why you are. It's crazy, right? Because we had the opposite picks.
Yeah.
But there's just something telling me Yuri wins this fight. Something is coming to me saying he's going to pull it off. And I have to listen to myself because, again, my picks have been good this year. I'm not going to get every pick right by any means. And I'm not 100% confident by any means. But something's telling me he gets it done. And we have a trilogy fight at some point. So, and I think it's going to be a great trilogy. Again. Sorry? What did you say?
Ankalaev is fucked again.
And Ankalaev gets fucked. We get the third fight, and Ankalaev sits there waiting for Jamal Hill or something like that. So we'll see what happens. All right, so this card is crazy. I think, let me check. 1, 2, 3. I picked 6 dogs. That's a lot. A lot, but you know what, man? I think a lot win this card. You picked 5 dogs? You picked 5 or 4?
3 in a row.
And then you had, was there one other? Oh, yeah. You had 3. You had 3, right?
Yeah, I only had 3.
You had 3, I had 6. Yeah, that makes sense. So, consensus dog, we had 1. It was Macy Chiasson.
And we also
the one fight we're looking forward to the least. What did you say?
Yeah, we have also Anthony Smith.
Oh, Anthony Smith. We had 2. Sorry, we have 2. Smith and Chiasson. And our consensus dogs were good. I got to really go back at all the podcasts and listen. You know what? I could take a look this year and see where consensus dogs were and try to match up, where they are. I think our record's positive on them. I'm like 99% sure of it. So
yeah, our consensus dogs are really good. That's probably the best part of our show. They are the
I
consensus
think so
dogs.
too, man. I always get so excited, dude. I always get happy. All right, guys, let's go to some comments, and then we'll just do PFL too as well. But let me get this comment first, or a couple comments. Pato likes Ortega. Pato likes Yuri. Tristan thinks Yuri could win the first round. Antoine likes Pereira. Virtus says, do you guys see Pereira moving up, possibly versus Khan? And maybe, he's possibly. I don't know. We'll see. Still got Ankalaev, though, you know? Alex is winning. He likes Alex. Yuri put pressure on him. I think it's possible, too. You have to get close to the decimal to go in the clinch. It's very true. Rocket showed the legs of Yuri. Yes, he did. He did. Maybe having been TKO Pereira would inspire Yuri to wrestle. Possibly, right? Like you said, Marcel. But again, he did get finished from going for that takedown. I tried to, exactly. He did. And you know, this comment, do you guys like Koreshkov as a dog? I haven't looked, but we'll talk about PFL in a sec. Just give me a minute. Thoughts on Ferdinand Lembush? It shouldn't be a main event. Come on. Bet individual parlays. I mean, listen, MMA, because the odds are the way they are, people are going to do parlays, but I always say that, you know, individual fights if you can. I prefer that, but I totally get why people do parlays, especially on this card, where there's a few favorites that should win. Pereira and Volkov, who you got? Ooh, heavyweight? Volkov is so big, dude. I have to go with Volkov, right? Would you pick Volkov?
Pereira.
You would? A heavyweight?
Yeah.
Okay. If Alex defends against Nikolai, what does it do for legacy? I mean, he's already going to the Hall of Fame right now. I think.
It would do still a lot, because a lot of people, including myself, think that Ankalaev is the best guy in the division. So if he knocks out Ankalaev, in my opinion, would be big. Maybe for him not, you know, but for me it would be big. But hey, who am I?
Yeah, you're Marcel. All right, we'll go quickly to PFL preview. I'm just going to read the odd, though, guys. This is not going to be a very in-depth preview. There was a few upsets last week, which is surprising with PFL. Anyways, Brendan Lofton minus 700 against Justin Gonzalez. Lofton wins, right?
Yeah.
Gabriel Alves Braga minus 125 against Bubba Jenkins. I think Braga wins.
Yeah.
Magomed Umalatov minus 850 against Brennan Ward. He wins.
Yeah.
Logan Storley minus 1,000 against Laureano Staropoli, which I don't know if you saw the preview. They were like, knockout artist, Laureano Staropoli. I'm like, when did this guy even knock anyone out? He's not a knockout artist, man. They're lying. He should win. Lorenz Lorcan minus 395 against Alan Dominguez, who I've heard some good things about. But Lorenz should win, right?
Yeah, I would say.
How about this one? Murad Ramazanov against Shamil
Musayev.
Okay, it's minus 110. It's a pickup fight. Tamir Kizriev should beat Brazola. He's minus 395. He should win. Yamauchi and Koreshkov is interesting. Yamauchi's minus 162 favorite. I don't know, man. Koreshkov might be a live dog. Yeah, he might be a live dog in that fight. Yeah. Kai Kamaka minus 450 against Pedro Carvalho. I'm not picking Pedro.
Oh, Pedro, your favorite, right?
Yeah. Don Madge is minus 450 against Gracie. I mean, that's high odds, but he should win that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Borch minus 166 against Johns. I like Borch.
Me too.
Luca Pocklet minus 600 against Zach Jusula. He should win too. Jordan Oliver should win against Say Hockey. He's minus 310. And then Tyler Diamond. This fight got canceled, I think, against Jose Perez. I know our boy Zach really liked Jose Perez as a dog, but that fight got canceled, I believe. So a couple other comments here. You all saw Dakota's fighting Jenna Bishop. I did see that. Yeah. She should still win, but it's a tougher fight than the girl she's been fighting. I'm still not sold on Dakota Ditcheva. I got to be honest with you. And, you know, she keeps saying, oh, they're testing me. They've given me really hard matchups. No, they haven't. They've given me the easiest fights possible. And I think she'll be a huge wake-up call when she fights Tyler Santos in the finals. Like, it's going to be a huge wake-up call. Go ahead.
Like I said, man, they fucking tried to give her the first seat. They matched up Jenna Bishop with Tyler Santos while they both at 6 points. So they knew only one girl would probably get 9 points because they were not going to get it finished. So yeah. By
the way, I didn't see this, but Tyler Dunn was fighting Brett Johns. Okay, that makes more sense. I would kind of favor Brett Johns. Brett Johns. Shabili's frustrated PFL. Maybe test free agency. Maybe. All right, I think that's good. Is there anything else you want to tell Marcel? Are we good to go?
Let me think. No, I have nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, it's been like 2 hours. I'm tired now. I want to go watch some Blue Jays. Our top prospect just got caught for performance-enhancing drugs, so that sucks. But our team sucks as well. But yeah, I still want to go watch. Anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing week. We'll see what happens with this card. Again, I picked up a lot of upsets. Marcel picked a couple too, so we're going to see a few. But once again, we had two consensus dogs: Macy Chiasson, Anthony Smith. We'll see what happens. Hope you guys have an amazing week. Enjoy the fights, and we'll be back next week. We'll recap this card, and then we have an off week next week. So enjoy the last week of fights for a week break, and we'll talk to you guys soon. And Kristen says thanks, and we appreciate you listening as always. So have a great week, guys. Talk to you soon. Peace.